Merci. Good evening, bonsoir. Bienvenue à la séance ordinaire du 4 novembre. Welcome to the regular public meeting on November 4th. Please rise for the national anthem. Before we begin, we'll do territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the City of Bathurst as the ancestral homeland of the Mi'kmaq. Today, these lands are home to a diverse population of Indigenous and other peoples. We also acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and culture of the Mi'kmaq in this region. Nous reconnaissons avec respect l'emplacement de la ville de Bathurst en tant que terre ancestrale du peuple Mi'kmaq. Aujourd'hui, ces terres sont hôtes d'une population diverse, comprenant personnes natives du territoire et autres patries. Nous reconnaissons aussi avec respect l'histoire et les diverses cultures du peuple Mi'kmaq de la région. On va aller à l'approbation de l'ordre du jour, the adoption of the agenda. Ms. Parker.
That the agenda be approved as presented.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Branch, seconded by Deputy Mayor Willett. Ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Ms. Parker, do we have any declaration of conflict of interest?
No conflicts of interest were declared.
Okay, so we'll go to 4.1, special public meeting held on October 9th, 2024. Ms. Parker.
That the minutes of the special public meeting dated October 9th, 2024 be approved as circulated.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Scarry, seconded by Councillor Anderson. I was told I wouldn't go so fast. I have a habit of speaking fast. I'm watching you. I know I do go fast. I'm slowing down. I looked at Amy and I slowed down. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. 4.2, regular public meeting held on October 21st, 2024. Ms. Parker.
That the minutes of the regular public meeting dated October 21st, 2024 be approved as circulated.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Knowles, seconded by Councillor Branch. Ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Consent of agenda, we're good. Voilà la présentation du public et de l'administration, public and administration presentation. We do have hospitality days by Mike Doucette. Before I ask Mr. Doucette to come up, I know that there's quite a bit of people in the room here this evening concerning homeless. I just want you to know that at the end of the mayor's report, I will actually be giving everybody an update for the homeless and what's happening. Mr. Doucette, please come up.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all again. So we're doing our year-end review for Bathurst Hospitality Days, and I think everyone knows that this one here went off very, very well. We're proud of it. It was the largest festival north of Moncton. We tried a few things different this year. I just want to give you a summary of kind of the major points of the festival, and then there's a few major announcements that we need to make. So we tried the 13 plus this year, so we could let families come and enjoy the festival together, and that went off very, very well. It was more of an experiment for the first year, and I think, I mean, it'll be up to the new committee, but I think it was a very positive addition to the festival, so we'll see how that moves forward. And the change that was the most impactful, I found, was allowing the chairs to come in. With a bigger venue, with Vickers Field, we had the space to allow, chairs, and a lot of the seniors and people with disabilities or people who just find it difficult to stand for that many hours in a row were able to come and enjoy it. For some, I mean, we've got many responses of, it was their first time being able to come and enjoy the festival. And if you looked at the field, I mean, there were quite a few people sitting on their chairs and they were enjoying themselves. So that was really great to see. I would like to actually start by thanking the local businesses, because without the sponsorship of the local businesses, we would not have been able to do it. So we raised a total of $204,287.67 in cash from local businesses, and $111,418.75 for in-kind. So it was a very, very great year. We were on par, a bit above last year's, but it just shows that there's a sustained desire for the festival, the business communities behind it. This year we had over 140 businesses contribute, so that was really nice to see, and it's the reason why the festival was a success. The bands, I mean, we definitely have to talk about the bands. I mean, we had Calnen certified, the Tanding Ramones for Thursday. Thursday was an amazing show. Josh Norad, Tim Hicks, the Roadhammers for Friday, and Bob Cajun, Bare Naked Ladies, and Signal Hill for Saturday. And I mean, it was inspiring to see. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will have that picture in their minds, the crowd, the lineup of people going way down the street. I mean, you would think you were in one of the larger cities around, and it was our Bathurst, right? So we were quite proud of that. I mean, obviously we learned some lessons from this year. It was the first time experimenting with large venue, large capacity. So we made notes on all of the things we could have done better. So we know how we could reduce that line time. We know things that the ticket lineup. There's things that could be done to improve, and that's how a festival grows. That's how it becomes successful and maintains its success. So we're definitely going to hand those lessons learned off. We're also very proud that we had 48 separate events this year. We had an extra 9 seniors events and an extra 5 children's events over the festival this year. So there were many activities for seniors, there were many activities for children, and the Legion jumped in and hopped in with us, so we were really proud of that as well. The impact on the hotels. I mean, we were 91% sold out of hotels at the beginning of April. And we know that the hotels sold out. Oh, that's not mine. Put that here. So yes, the hotels did very, very well. And just an example, we got our funding from the hotel levy. And the increased pricing that the hotels were able to charge because of the high demand for hospitality days. We know of, a small private hotel that for Saturday night was charging $415 for a room. So there's sometimes high is too high, but the point is people still wanted to come. The increased revenue to the hotel levy was there based on it. So we know that the demand is there. The hotels, every single hotel has reached out to us regarding 2025 to find out what the dates are. And Best Western, where we usually carry the bands, they've reached out probably 3 weeks after the festival saying they needed to know if we were going to have the same requirement this year, because if we are, they're already approaching sold out. And that was 3 weeks after our festival. So we know that the success is there. When we look at some added costs for this year, we had made some projections. We projected a $600,000 festival. I gave everybody a copy of our financial statement. So we were very close. It was $633,079. Now that is not complete and final because there's HST. We have a pending issue that we're trying to resolve with a local business. We can talk about that later. And there's one discrepancy with a sponsorship that I think the dollars had come to the city as opposed to coming to us. So we're looking into that, and we'll see where that lays. So the number could change slightly, but it was still a $633,000 festival. Just a fun fact, I mean, $759,000 worth of checks actually traveled through the festival this year. Now, why is the number higher? I mean, there was cash that we had pulled out for the ATM. We did an ATM service this year, so that HST on sales that we claimed and got back. But the point of the matter is, it's a large festival now, so we're proud again. So for our giving back portion, we always tried to give back to local clubs and kind of share the wealth from it. So Bathurst Minor Hockey, they concluded with a total of $16,312.18 for hospitality last year. So that's a great number to see. The 4-H club, we purchased the food and got all the accessories for them for their barbecue. They made $3,456. The Heritage Museum, they had requested $250. I'm throwing it in just because it was a wonderful little thing that they did with the vintage tea hat party. So we give them the $250 that they requested. The Point Church Children's Event Barbecue, they raised $800 from food that we had donated from the festival. And the Upper Dawson Community Center, we gave them $1,000 in gift cards from various restaurants within the city. We had extra gift cards that we didn't end up using, so we gave $1,000 to them. And the Make-A-Wish Foundation was able to raise $2,500 from food that we had provided, and propane that was donated by Richard Saunier. So we're thankful for that. So the total was $24,318. And other spin-off added benefits, Ticket Boutique, which I'd really like to thank Ryan Wilbur. I mean, this was a big, big venture this year. There was a lot of moving parts, and Ryan was there every step of the way. There was not one issue with anything that was going on there. So this is a good news story because we had requested $50,000. Obviously, it was from the hotel levy, but over and above that, Ticket Boutique, the fees that were charged for the ticket sales was in excess of $35,000. So not all that is going to Ticket Boutique. There's charges that they incur as well, but it's nice to see, and they earned it. It's nice to see that it actually helped out a business, you know, for the city as well. The food trucks, I mean, we had 6 food trucks that were busy from the beginning to the end, and I mean, those are 6 small businesses that are in town, and they did very well for themselves as well. So attendance, I'm just speeding through this because I know we have a tight timeline. Attendance, we were around between 9,500 and 10,000 occupants over the 3 days. So I don't have the exact breakdown over the nights, but I think everybody who was there Saturday night seen it pretty full from end to end. So we're happy with the participation for this year. So I would like to just, because a lot of the committee members this year are going to be stepping down, not everybody, and I know Bob, who I'll introduce in a little bit, is going to be speaking with people, and maybe some people will have a change of heart, but I want to thank each one of the committee members that actually helped us pull this off, and I think they did a really good job, and I was very proud to work with each one of them. So I'd like to thank Dale Knowles, Councillor Dale Knowles, who started the process for identifying and securing the bands, and he handed the torch to Denise Hill, who was a godsend for us on all things band, and she handled things like the rider list, you know, all the travel accommodations, hotels, and any requirements that the bands had. Spencer Saunier for the parade and the food truck village and many other things. Dinah, who was our secretary. She did all the VIP access and badges and backstage passes, and there was a lot of requirements because the bands are kind of stepping up in class, and they're a little bit more stringent on the rules, so we had to put somebody in charge of that, and she did a great job. Chico, I'd like to thank Chico again. Chico was in charge of our fundraising this year, so that eased the burden on everybody trying to hit the road and raise that money. So he took the majority of that this year. I want to thank Erica DeGrasse. She was our consultant, so anytime anything needed to be answered properly, which sometimes I'm not the best at, she would step in and handle the situation and give us some guidance on proper ways of doing things and the best practices when you're trying to grow, so we were very appreciative. Claude Doucette, he was in charge of the bar, so he was helping organize the bar. I worked with Claude on that project, and I think everybody was pretty happy with how it turned out. Luc Duguay was our French language advertiser, so you would see Luc on some of the advertisements that we had. And Chris Drysdale, who was kind of our Mr. Fix-It. Anytime a problem would arise, we would give it to him, and he would run and take care of the project. So we're very thankful for that. I know I'm saying thankful a lot, but I am. Now, last but not least is Melissa Ellis. I would really like to thank Melissa because to build a festival this size, you can't get the people to show up if they don't know what's going on. So she really went out of the box. We had, I'm sure a lot of people seen this, we had a contest on CTV during Live at 5. They chose a winner, and it was a $2,500 package. They came to town. They were very appreciative. They loved their city, and we put a package together for them, and it was a big thing on CTV. And we filmed the commercial, which is kind of a first time for all of us. We filmed the commercial, which was a 15-second commercial donated by Le Cave Media, and it turned out amazingly well. And that was broadcast across all the Atlantic provinces. So there was 86 commercials, 86 separate times at broadcast, and the estimated viewings per show was 180,000. So that's kind of what got the word out and led to the success. I would like to actually ask Melissa to come up. Yeah, come on up, Melissa.
Thanks.
I think Melissa has a few words to say, but again, I really would love to express my gratitude to her because the success of the festival is, I would give it 75% due to her efforts, and she did a really great job.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette.
No problem.
All right, so I'd like to take a moment to celebrate the past 2 years of the festival. It was huge, we loved it, and the magic of Festival 23 and 24 simply would not have been possible with the vision and financial support of President Mike Doucette, this guy right here. So Mike believed in what this festival could be, and his dedication helped turn things around. Think big was our mantra, and think big we did. So although the festival wrapped up in July, for Mike, myself, and Denise Hill, the work was far from over. Knowing this was our final year, we put our heads together and hired a consultant to help secure grants, ensuring the festival would continue strong in 2025 and beyond. It took countless hours and many meetings, racing to meet deadlines before November. But our hard work did pay off. We succeeded with 2 large grants, one of which the festival hasn't received since 2018. So there's even more exciting news, one I'm really proud of, and our whole entire team should be. So our festival has been nominated for the best big concert in New Brunswick at the Tourism Summit in Gala. We registered for this in August, worked, again, countless hours to make sure that they knew Bathurst was in the north and come on and see what we can do. And so I'll be attending and hoping to bring the trophy back to our city, right here. I'll bring it to you guys to show it off, and you can have it. But honestly, just being nominated feels like winning, and the committee did good. We did good. So, in closing, one of the most special parts of this journey for many of us has been the way the whole city came alive during the 10-day festival. So everywhere you looked, people were out, they were laughing and celebrating together. Bathurst had a certain vibe that week. I can't explain it, but it did. I was walking the streets and you just felt it. It was a buzz and it was a feeling of togetherness. So as we take off our hats and give it to the next committee, good luck, have fun, and call us if you need us, but don't call too much.
Hold on, Melissa, stay there for a quick second. I'm going to ask you because I know Mike Doucette won't say it. So whenever you start a festival like that,
Yeah.
and you have to start the ball game rolling, the
Yeah.
deposits on the bands and everything else, do you want to share how much Mr. Doucette took out of pocket to get this festival going?
I'll just look at him to see if he'll ever talk to me again if I say that number.
You know what, I can give you a rundown of it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let you know, because it's relevant, because I'm going to share the grants that we went for and what we believe we're going to succeed with. And then I know the question is, then why would you need assistance again? And the reason is because a lot of the costs, a lot of throwing a successful festival, the cost is front loaded. So we need money to secure the stage. We need money to secure all the bands. You need to give your, 50%. And if you're lucky, you have somebody who can negotiate. You can negotiate, 25% segments, but it's always front loaded. So just to give you a heads up, we have the New Horizon grant that looks like it will be $23,845. Now, these are not approved yet. They've been submitted, and the word is it's likely an approval. But anything could happen. The Canadian Heritage, Building Communities Through Arts and Heritage, we applied for $114,329, but we're kind of told that 35% is usually what you would see. So we're probably going to be between 30 and 35,000 if we're successful there. Another good news story is for NB Explore. For NB Explore, at the end of each year, with Ryan's help, we put together all of the postal codes of the attendees, and we submit it. They've analyzed our postal codes. You have to have 20% from out of town. And through their analysis, they determined that we had 32% from out of town. So with that, we would be, we're fairly sure we would be granted the grant from NB Explorer for out of town travel, which is $15,000. So there's dollars coming in, and we ended up in a positive position cash flow wise that you can see from our financial statement. But the dollars are needed upfront. So to do our festival this year at the highest point, and I can show, again, I brought all my documentation, so if anybody wants to see it, I've got every receipt, every dollar was documented from beginning to end. So I was around $169,000 out of pocket to get the festival off the ground. So obviously the festival was successful and I was able to get paid back, but there's a lot of dollars required to do something this big, and it's worth it. It's worth it because I think that anyone would know that millions of dollars of cash flow came into the city during that festival. I mean, the city was full, the hotels were full, the restaurants were full, and even just the word of mouth about Bathurst is a great thing that happened for us. So I'm going to wrap it up quickly. So I would like to, obviously, I'm stepping down as president for this year. I loved it. The couple of years was very fun for me, and I wouldn't rule it out down the road. But I have other ventures that I committed to, so my time is already spoken for the coming year. So we were looking aggressively for somebody to take the ball and run with it, but you need to find that right person. It's got to be somebody who has the ability to run a large project like this. I mean, there's a big financial burden, and you need a good team behind you. So we needed to find somebody who could do that and attract those people to help. and Bob Lennon. Actually, with Dale's help, Dale put that ball in motion, and we went and had a meeting, and it turned out very well. So Bob has stepped up to the plate and has agreed to take the ball and run, so we can keep going in that forward direction. So I'd like to actually introduce Bob to everybody.
Nobody knows Bob.
Nobody knows Bob? For the one person in the audience that doesn't know Bob, I don't know if you want to.
Again, here I am involved in music, right?
Yeah.
Hard to believe that that would happen, but it's, the beautiful thing about this is one of them feel pretty honored to the fact that being approached by Dale and Mike to ask to get involved in this, with this group. The fact that, yes, last year, this whole group busted that bubble and went above and beyond where we'd been before and proved that we could do it. And the other part of it is that being involved in this organization, and I sat down with Mike yesterday and we went through what he had in that box. I've never seen something so organized in my life. So I'm stepping into something here that is very well organized. It's already set up to succeed. I got some big boots to fill. I'm used to starting off at scratch with nothing and mostly in the hole. And here we are in the opposite direction. So I think that what this has done for the city and what it can do for the city is only positive all the way through. So I thank you very much. I thank you very much for the support of the city and the continued support going through. So now we can ask for money.
Awesome. Okay, so just two last points. Number one is we would like to continue the conversation because I was told that the strategic 3-year plan for the city, and I'm not sure if I'm describing that correctly, the Vickersfield location is designated to turn back into a ball field. I mean, we had an original meeting with Coronation Park Committee and with some people from the City Council about, turning all of Vickersfield into a venue, being able to put a permanent fixed location there. There's grants, infrastructure grants to build a fixed location. So there's a lot of work that can be done there. There's a lot of good that could come from that location. So I think it warrants a conversation to see what benefits the city more. A field that doesn't get used or a field that can turn into something great for the city. But there was also an interesting, not proposal, but another idea that came up where there is a lot of green space at the old mill location that cannot be used, concrete or whatever the case may be. There's some space that will be designated and it's a large area. So it warrants the conversation. So I wouldn't mind even being involved in that if Bob wants a hand, or if we can set some meetings up, because we need a fixed location. We need to cut more holes in the fence. We need to put more access for people to come in, not put it back together and turn it back into a ball field. So if there is a 25, it has to be at Vickersfield because there is no other location. So I think if we could put together a group that could look at that and come up with a fixed plan of what the progression would be. If it's an option to look at Vickers, if it's an option to look at the mill site, what that process looks like, I think that would be a great thing to get on right away, because we need to know what the next steps are for the festival. So that's one. And the last would be, again, I am humbly asking the city to look at the hotel levy and award the $50,000 to the hospitality days again for 2025. Bob's going to be running with this thing, and not everybody wants to go that deep out of pocket. And I think he's going to need all the help he can get. And if we don't at least match what was done last year, then in some people's eyes, it won't be looked at as a success. So I want to make sure that we do what we can to set him out on the right foot. So again, I want to thank all you fine folks, and it was a pleasure.
I will ask the 2025, are you looking to receive that in January of 2025? Are you looking to receive before the holidays? What is the ask, so council is aware?
I am not sure the timing of when the bands would want to receive their first payment, I would say January would probably work. We would
Okay.
have to get back to you on that one. If it could be split 25-25, half before and half after would be great.
Okay.
But I mean, right now, we're just at the point where we're asking for it.
Okay.
The earlier the better, but I think January would probably be something, I'd have to speak with people who have more experience with the timing of when the bands would like to get paid. But I know that we're a little bit late to the jump right now, because we should be hiring bands, and we should be booking the stage as soon as possible.
Okay, perfect. So we will definitely get back. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Nope. We'll get back
Perfect.
to you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So we have nothing under finance, so we're going to go to municipal bylaws. 8.1, proposed municipal and zoning bylaw amendment, 495 Riverside Drive. 8.11, third reading of the bylaw 2024-08M. Ms. Parker.
That bylaw 2024-08M, entitled A Bylaw to Amend Bylaw Number 2006-01, entitled The City of Bathurst Municipal Bylaw, be read for the third time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to move in second. Councillor Burnett, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Do we have any questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll go to 8.1.2, third reading of bylaw 2024-08Z. Ms. Parker.
That bylaw 2024-08Z, entitled A Bylaw to Amend Bylaw Number, sorry, excuse me, they're all mixed up. It's okay. Sorry. One of those days. That bylaw number 2024-08Z, entitled A Bylaw to Amend Bylaw Number 2008-01, entitled The City of Bathurst Zoning Bylaw, be read for the third time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Branch, seconded by Councillor Knowles. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 8.2, proposed municipal and zoning bylaw amendment for 1765 St. Peters Avenue. 8.21, third reading of bylaw 2024-09M. Ms. Parker.
That bylaw number 2024-09M, entitled A Bylaw to Amend Bylaw Number 2006-01, entitled The City of Bathurst Municipal Plan Bylaw, be read for the third time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Scary, seconded by Deputy Mayor Willett. Questions? No. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. 8.22, third reading, bylaw 2024-09Z.
That bylaw number 2024-09Z, entitled A Bylaw to Amend Bylaw Number 2008-01, entitled The City of Bathurst Zoning Bylaw, be read for the third time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Someone a second. Moved by Councillor Branch, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We fall under draft resolution, submission to the Minister of the bylaw to amend the municipal plan pursuant to Section 112 of the Community Planning Act. So we are 9.11, zoning of 495 Riverside Drive. Ms. Parker.
Whereas Section 112 of the Community Planning Act requires that the council applies to the Minister for approval of bylaw 2024-08M, and whereas the bylaw conforms to the requirements of the said act, be it resolved that the city clerk, acting on behalf of the council, apply to the Minister of Local Government and Government Reform for approval of the bylaw as prescribed in subsection 1122 of the said act.
All right, I'll need someone to move in second. Councillor Burnett, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Do we have any questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. 9.1.2, rezoning of 1765 St. Peters Avenue. Ms. Parker.
Whereas Section 112 of the Community Planning Act requires that the council applies to the Minister for approval of bylaw 2024-09M, and whereas the bylaw conforms to the requirements of the said act, be it resolved that the city clerk, acting on behalf of the council, apply to the Minister of Local Government and Government Reform for the approval of the bylaw as prescribed in subsection 1122 of the said act.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Branch, need someone to second. Councillor Knowles, ready for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 9.2, supply of coarse highway salt. Ms. Parker.
Whereas for the 2023-2024 season, the City of Bathurst purchased its road salt from Nutrien in Sussex, New Brunswick at the price obtained by the Province of New Brunswick by taking advantage of their universal purchasing clause, and whereas this clause allows any municipality in the province to obtain salt at the same rate as the provincial contract, and whereas the lower supply price came with a higher trucking cost, meaning the City of Bathurst must revisit and supply trucking costs annually regardless of the provincial agreement. Therefore, be it resolved that, after reviewing the cost of trucking for the 2024-2025 season, members of council approve the extension of the contract to purchase an estimated quantity of 3,000 metric ton of road salt from Nutrien, Sussex, New Brunswick, for a total cost of $199,200 plus tax.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Moved by Councillor Honda, seconded by Councillor Scary. Mr. Pettigrew, did we want to add anything on that?
Thank you, Worship. We can go through to Mr. Abernathy.
All right, Mr. Abernathy, I'll give you, okay.
Thank you, Worship. I'm not sure what else I can add. That was pretty well described by Ms.
Listen, I haven't been here for 6 weeks, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
You guys talked about it already.
One thing I can add is that we did have a very mild winter last year. However, we still did have a lot of freeze-thaw cycles, so we did end up using quite a bit of salt regardless. So we do intend on purchasing the entire 3,000 metric ton. We didn't do so last year. However, our pricing is looking a little bit better this year on trucking, which you'll hear in a minute. So we probably will go ahead and purchase the full 3,000 metric ton this year.
All right. Do I have any questions? No? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carried. We go to 9.3, T010-24, trucking of highway salt 2024-2025.
That tender T010-24, trucking of highway salt 2024-25, be awarded to Sunbury Transport Limited from St. John, New Brunswick for $110,400 plus tax.
All right. I'll need someone to move. Councillor Branch. Need someone to second. Councillor LeBlanc. Did you want to add again to it? Pretty simple,
Pretty
right?
simple,
Okay.
yeah.
We have no questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. 9.4, P 2024-10, culverts policy. Ms. Parker.
Whereas the purpose of this policy is to clarify the responsibilities of repair or replacement and control of standards and quality of work for the driveway culverts within the limits of the City of Bathurst, and whereas this policy applies to all properties within the limits of the City of Bathurst, be it therefore resolved that members of council approve the policy P 2024-10 culverts policy as attached hereto.
All right. I'll need someone to move and someone to second. Okay. Moved by Deputy Mayor Willett, seconded by Councillor Branch. Do we have any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carried. We go to report from administration, 2025 budget update by Madame Gauvin. Est-ce que vous allez prendre le podium, Madame Gauvin, ou vous allez vous asseoir là? Directement là? OK, je vais vous donner le micro.
Merci beaucoup. As everybody knows, we had prepared a schedule back in September about what the dates would be for budget rollouts. As every municipality, not just Bathurst, we only received our assessment based last week. So we are packaging now, we are calculating, we are doing our stuff. But what it means is that all the dates that we planned, starting with October 23rd session for the first draft general budget, could not happen because of that. So we are now moving the calendar. I'm just waiting for it to load on the,
Do you have it plugged?
it's plugged.
Don't know why it's not working.
Yours is not on.
Here, I'll do it on mine.
We're just gonna wait for the load.
I did click it. There,
Oh.
there you go.
I don't know if it's yours or mine though.
We're gonna find out.
So it's yours. So second slide, please. So as you can see here, the dates that are changing is for the 3. We've accomplished already the request from committees, department heads. We've started going through. We've went through a first draft of capital funds as well as utility. So the new date that replaces October 23rd will now be next Tuesday for the operating general fund for the first draft. And then we will review again the 3 other budgets and come back with some answers to some questions that we received. So next Tuesday at 6 will be the new date. It was already a planned meeting, but we will concentrate it on budget instead. And then it furthers down the other dates. We'll review all of the 4 budgets with the adjustments that we might have brought since the 12th. We'll do that on Monday 25th. And we're hoping to have budget resolution by December 2nd. So that would, as per the province, we would have to submit them by November 29th, but the closest possible calendar available is December 2nd, plus it's a public meeting that we need to go through. So the 29th is actually on a Friday or weekend, I believe. So that is the best calendar we
Same
could
thing last
come.
year, though, right?
No, we were just missing a whole bunch of information not related to the tax base.
Okay.
This year was really different. But all municipalities received their tax base only last week. So everybody's going to be looking at their calendars again.
All right, do we have any questions? No? Good? Good. Perfect. Merci, Madame Gauvin. We have a report from committee. Councillor Burnett. I will give you the mic in a second, Councillor Burnett. Oh. All right, you have the mic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I went out and represented the city in a number of meetings and gatherings in the last while. First one was the Irish celebrations in North Teddygush, which is now in the city. And they had a supper, and they had music, and they had a gathering. And what they really did there was recognize that the first name of North Teddygush was Kinsale, and they recognized all the original settlers that made up that community. A lot of them still have their names there in North Teddygush. And the name Kinsale comes from Ireland, of course, and they celebrated that and with a big plaque, and a plaque that our grant committee helped to fund. So congratulations to the grant committee for funding that now. That will go up in Teddygush. It will go inside and outside, and it explains the history and the names that made up that community. And it was a really good evening with Callan playing music at the end of it. There was a good supper. There was a roast, and then there was all kinds of traditional Irish food. So it was really good. One of the highlights for me at the meeting is I sat with former councillor Claire Wilt at the table and had some nice chats, but he also with past Mayor Doug Williamson's wife, Mary. And the week before I went there, I found in my closet downstairs a poster of the racetrack from Bathurst, Australia. So I brought that to the Heritage Museum and asked them if they want it. And Nancy Culligan-Brunner said, we'd like to have more on the connection between Bathurst, New Brunswick, and Bathurst, Australia. So I happened to sit with Mary, which was fortunate. And she said, yeah, she did go there with Doug, Mayor Doug Williamson. And they celebrated the bicentennial of Bathurst, Australia. And she brought home all the clippings from the newspapers. So I sent those clippings to all the council and to the mayor as well, and to Amy, our city clerk, so she could share them. So those clippings now, I have them here, will go to the Heritage Museum and probably put somewhere where that racetrack poster is. I had made it into a tabletop and will be there. So anybody who'd like to go to the Heritage Museum to check this out, it's quite the story of Mayor Williamson going over to Bathurst, Australia. And Mary said that she went to a number of different functions, and she was called the mayoress the whole time she was there. So she was really proud of that. And the end of it, they said maybe there could be a further connection between Bathurst, Australia, and Bathurst, New Brunswick. And being in that it is a racetrack city, I would volunteer. But no, it's too far to go. It's a long, long flight. You know. Also, I went to the Art Society meeting for you last week, and they had a very good meeting, and President Rita Mae Gates chaired a very good meeting, and there's going to be an opening there for Christmas and also at the mall for the holidays, and anybody would like to purchase a unique gift for a holiday gift, the Art Society has many good works, and they have many good works that are going to be displayed up at the mall. As well, there will be art lessons now. We have a new member that came in from Ontario, and she's setting up lessons with those that would like to, during the winter months and the cold, maybe like to take some art lessons. This lady who ended up in Nash Creek from Ontario, she bought a church, and she came to the meeting with all sorts of ideas. So it was a pretty good gathering that day. As well, the Remembrance Day ceremony is with us next week. I imagine you were going to mention that. And the Poppy campaign is going on. So thanks to all those who have supported the Poppy campaign. It is well received in our city. And it'll be ongoing again this week until Saturday. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Burnett. Yes, Remembrance Day will be this Monday at Casey Irving. There will have an invitation that will be out on Facebook for everyone with the time and the place. So hopefully we'll be able to see everybody there. Mayor report. I don't have a mayor's report. What I do have is I do want to talk about the homeless situation that we have in the city of Bathurst. So just for transparency, I think a lot of people believe that the city is responsible for the homeless. The youth center on St. Anne has the contract for the homeless. They have funding from the provincial government and federal government to oversee the homeless shelter, and there is funds that were offered to take care of a warming center that is meant to start on December 1st. At this time, the youth center is not interested in wanting to take on the contract. So they are asking if there's anybody out there that are nonprofit organization that would like to be able to take over that file. They will continue with the shelter itself, but the warming center, they are asking if anybody out there is interested to take the contract. They would greatly appreciate it. It is funded every month for this warming center. Now, if we can't find anybody, I did speak to the president of the board this morning, and she did say, because I did say everything is planned and set to have a warming center for December 1st. I did say if they could at least go back to the board and ask to keep the contract until we can figure something out and have someone take over. That being said, back over a year ago, myself, Deputy Mayor Willett, and Councillor LeBlanc put in a committee together because there was no warming center. We did not have that. It did not exist. So we met with the province and we met with the employees from the youth center, and we created a committee. We found a temporary location, and by January 8, we had a warming center. We knew that was going to be a temporary warming center, and it wasn't very big, and our goal was to be able to have something better, something that would have showers, washer, dryer, something for a place for people to have, you know, a cup of soup and be able to take a shower. We worked on that. We had been working on that, and we had something planned for December 1st. We were also looking at other locations as a possibility that we could have. But the city's involvement is we're part of the committee, and we're trying to find solutions to this situation that is happening in our region. At the beginning of June, the committee met, and we were meeting almost every 4 to 6 weeks. At the time, we had 64 homeless in our area. Out of those 64, a little over 50% are called couch surfing. These are people that are either on disability or social assistance, and they cannot afford a place to stay. So we know affordable housing is a massive issue. However, these people are staying with family, with friends. They do have a place, but they don't have a permanent place. The other percentage are actually truly homeless. Now, since June, we've doubled. We're at 117 homeless in our city right now. Why? Because they're getting dropped off on the bus And I don't know where they're all coming from, but I can guarantee you, and we know for a fact, they're not from here. They're not from Bathurst. Where are they coming from? I'm not sure. So for me as a city, what I think we need to do is find out where they're from, and they need to go back home. We need to buy their ticket, put them on the bus, and send them back to where they're originally from. We're 117. If we don't try to figure something out, we will be Moncton in no time. 3 years ago when I came in as a mayor in 2021, this was not an issue. We've doubled since June on homeless. And it's not that this committee is not trying to come up with solutions. We are. And everybody that does not have an address still gets their check at the end of the month at social development. They have money every month. They do get a check at social development. They don't have a permanent address. And that we received confirmation because we have people from social development on the committee meeting with us. So they do have money coming in. We are trying to find a solution. But all these people are coming in and they are not originally from us. I seen them this summer coming off the SMT bus with their suitcase. How they got here, I'm not sure. If they had no money, but they're here. But we're at a 117 right now. So even if we were to have a warming center with 12 beds or 15 beds, there's not going to be enough. There's not going to be enough. So we need to try to figure something. We can work as a community. We will continue working with the youth center and with the committee to try to find solutions. It has become a serious problem, but it also has become a very big problem for the businesses. There are so many break-ins in the downtown. I cannot even tell you how many break-ins. People are doing drugs between buildings. They're shooting up with needles. We find needles in the bathroom here. They're sleeping between the bank. I mean, some of them are mental health, some could be drug addiction, some of them that they don't have a place to stay. We don't have all their story. But what I can tell you, you ask all the downtown business merchants how much of a hard time they've been having. There's very few that have not been broken into and stuff stolen in their building. So it's become a huge system where that we're saying, how can we help the downtown merchants? Because some of them really don't even want to have business downtown anymore. How can we find a place for them to stay? We need affordable housing. I can tell you the good news out of that is that with the committee, we know that 17 people have been placed into apartments. Out of those 17, 2 of them left their apartment and went back to the streets. So we do have good numbers. They placed 17, but that was when we had 64 people. Now we're at 117 people that are homeless at this time. So there is going to be a lot of work that is going to need to be done. Councillor LeBlanc?
I'd like to thank you, Madam Mayor, for bringing those issues to the forefront and what we are dealing with. And I think very important for people to understand, one of the main issues we have is most of these, and literally most of them, these are mental health issues which either are caused by or cause drug addiction. And as Madam Mayor said, we have a lot of these that do not want to be housed. Right, so that's another problem for us. We have 2 issues that we're facing that are major, I find, and I'm sure you'll agree. One of them is every time we talk about increasing capacity of either warming or shelter, it seems the next day there's 10 more that show up that are not from anywhere in the region. They come, we kind of know how they get here, but I'll keep that private for now. And the other issue, so it is, I forget where I was going with that. I was stuck with that. But anyhow, just going to rewind it back here and just go, those drug addictions, people don't want to be housed, and that's causing us issues. So we really are in a tough situation. And I would even add to that, lack of volunteers. That is huge right now. Of what we are facing is a lack of volunteers. I don't think funding is necessarily the issue.
Funding is not the issue. There's funding. Yep. There's funding from provincial and federal government, and there are staff that are working. And as we know, with the committee, they're doing great work. But yeah, it's just we've doubled since June, almost. With the so, it's even with the warming center that last year we had. I think we were able to squeeze 8 or 9. So we're trying to find this center that maybe be able to do 15, but there's no way we'll be able to have room for
And
everyone.
again, we have to be careful, because every time we increase capacity, word gets around. It's kind of what happened in Moncton. Moncton increased their services, and look what they had to live through for them, because it was all well-intentioned, every little bit of it. So this is a very complex issue, very, very complex issue, and we have professionals working this, analyzing this, who have been working this their whole careers, and yeah, just wanted to put that forward, that there's been a ton of effort put in that, and it's not going to stop anytime soon, where all three of us are dedicated to continue working on this problem.
And some of them are getting dropped off directly at the homeless shelter. There's only 10 beds and 2 emergency beds. So they're getting dropped off there, and when they go to the door, they can't go in, there's no beds. Why? Because the 10 people that are there have been living there for more than 9 months. That's the reality that we're facing right now. So as mayor, I'm going to be calling the other municipalities in our surrounding areas. And if we need to volunteer, we need to find out where they're from. I'd be more than happy to pay their ticket and send them back to their municipality and have them take care of them. It's not fair that they're all coming here. We don't have the room for them. And it breaks my heart, because I don't want anybody dying this winter. That's why we pushed an emergency meeting to try to push to have a warming shelter last year. That's the last thing we would want. These are all human beings that deserve to be treated carefully. And it breaks my heart, but the more we are doing right now, the more they are coming. So we need to try to find a balance. And if there are people out there that are willing to volunteer, please reach out, let us know. Reach out to the youth center. They are the ones that are looking for volunteers. But you also have to be careful, because it is mental health. So please don't put your life at risk sometimes. You never know. You know, you are taking that risk. Go through the youth center, and they'd be more than happy to try to work with the volunteers. All right? And for anybody that's here, if you have any questions, you know how to reach me, or call at City Hall, and I'd be more than happy to meet with you. Other than that, DBRC tomorrow evening. Council, DBRC has their AGM at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. I'll send you the invitation. I don't know if you have an opportunity to be able to go see it. I'll be attending the DPRC. So we'll go to meeting adjourned, Ms. Parker.
That the regular public meeting be adjourned at 7:27 p.m.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Okay, so I'll move by Councillor Hondas and seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Have a good evening. Thank you for being with us on Facebook Live. And Council, please stick around. We'll take a couple of minutes. We have another meeting. Merci, bonsoir.